Hey, what's going on, everybody? My name is Corey, better known as the Seaman, and I want to welcome you to another edition of the Seaman's Cinema Sit Down and back for just one more Comic-Con at Home video, man. I told you, all weekend long. Best part about Comic-Con at Home is everything's right at your fingertips, man, and all the panels live on YouTube, which means if I couldn't watch it, boom, right to the watch list. Been just anytime I get some spare time, I can throw a video on, catching up on panels I wanted to see. I happened to miss a pretty big one on Saturday night, and it had a pretty big trailer in front of it, which is why we're getting ready to talk about it right now, because this is a must-talk-about show and panel, and just everything about what came out of this during Comic-Con at Home was great. So why don't you pull up a chair, man, take a seat. We're getting ready to take a look at the first official trailer and Comic-Con at Home trailer for HBO's Lovecraft Country, and then of course we will also talk about the panel in and of itself. But before we get there, we have a trailer. The panel kicked off with a trailer, so I want to set up the show for those that are unfamiliar. This is a show that is being run and executive produced by Misha Green. She is the showrunner. Executive producing alongside of her is Jordan Peele. I can tell you right now, when you watch this trailer, you're going to be like, oh yeah, Jordan Peele's definitely involved. You definitely get some of his vibes in there. And that's a good thing, because when you're talking about horror or just filmmaking in general, this dude is one of the best in the game right now. He really knows how to craft these types of world with complex ideas that they got going on. So that's right out front. Your creators are fantastic. Then you have just an amazing cast. You've got Jonathan Majors playing Atticus Freeman. His best friend Letitia is being played by Journey Smollett Bell. His uncle is being played, Uncle George, by Courtney B. Vance. And they are traveling cross-country in 1950s Jim Crow America to track down Atticus's father, who's gone missing, who's being played by the one and only Michael Kenneth Williams. What a knockout for, man. Like, that is a really strong core cast. And then when you add in the likes of Anjanou Ellis and Wunmi Masako, Abby Lee, you've got a really rock-solid cast, man. And watching this panel, like, you will get the feel of how tight-knit this cast is. It's one of the things that they talked about during the panel, and just how good this cast is going to be. But the story is about them going to find Atticus' father, who's gone missing. So beginning of the show, won't see a lot of Michael Kenneth Williams. He obviously will come into the show a little bit later. And then alongside of going to find him, within their journeys, they're dealing with these horrifying terrors of real life, with racism and all the problems that you would have in Jim Crow America, which oddly enough are still super relevant today. It's one of the things they talked about in the panel. They were like, there's no way to know that making this show would lead to being dropped in the course of history that we're currently in, except for the fact that these type of things seem to reoccur quite frequently and constantly rear their ugly head, creating what Courtney B. Vance said is a story that we tell, but like we shouldn't be telling anymore. Like, this is a story that should be dead and forgotten about, and we should be moving forward. So that's one of the interesting things that'll come along with the show, is tackling these real life problems in the 1950s that sync up with 2020. And alongside of facing those terrifying real life monsters, there will also be some H.P. Lovecraft monsters. I mean, come on! You ain't never heard the word Lovecraft associated with anything other than H.P. Lovecraft. So you knew this show was going to have some monsters. We do have some monsters. And when you mix all that together in the form that they're bringing, woo, this show looks like it is going to be fire. Courtney B. Vance was told to give a pitch, and he was like, forget your Game of Thrones, man. We got our own thrones, and they're big, and they're scary, and we're bringing something you ain't never seen before. And I was like, take my money, Courtney B. Vance. I mean, HBO's already doing it, but you can take my money. You can take my mama's money, take my daddy's money. Like, just take it, because sold. I was sold. Like, when you see the trailer that we're about to watch, that's going to sell you. Then when you hear a guy like Courtney B. Vance say, like, this is going to be able to compete and hang with Game of Thrones because of what they're tackling, what they're conquering and talking about, and what the show is something that we haven't seen before. So there's your setup, man. Hopefully you're in on Lovecraft Country. Let's not waste any more time. Let's throw it back to the past, C-Man, and watch this frickin' trailer. So take it away, past C-Man. Thank you, future Seaman, and yes, indeed, we are getting ready to kick off the panel for HBO's Lovecraft Country. All I know about this bad boy is set in the 1950s, a black family, or a collection of friends and family traveling across the country, and it's being produced by Mr. Jordan Peele. I can only imagine what we're going to get. I'm so excited. So the panel is kicking off with this trailer, so let's not waste any more time and take a look at what we're getting with HBO's Lovecraft Country.
What's that book you've been reading about?
It's about heroes who get to go on adventures, defeat the monsters, and save the day. Little boy from the south side of Chicago, the only tourist to get to do that. This story is about my father and the secret birthright that's been kept from us. You going after it? We're gonna need a car.
Who's gonna stand there, Tick?
This cast is so
This
strong.
is family business. And families stay together.
Bad for my health, scared for myself.
Just because they don't want you here doesn't mean you're not supposed to be.
Gotta get away.
This is an invitation to unmitigated power.
Where in the hell did I go wrong with you, boy? I told you to stay away from that damn place.
There's something here.
Oh, dude, those Jordan Peele trailers always get that.
Everything is where and as it should be.
It's a really well done trailer.
To man. To creature.
Oh gosh,
We're surrounded by monsters.
J.J. Abrams in on this too.
I'm doing this to protect us.
You can't win this game they setting up for you to play.
This legacy belongs to our family.
We gotta face this new world and stake our claim in it.
What? Oh,
It's our family story.
dude, my head just exploded with the end of that trailer. That was absolutely amazing. Oh man, like I was like just so one. If there's anybody that knows how to cut trailers in this world, what Jordan Peele for sure. But Jordan Peele aside, if there's anybody that knows how to cut trailers, it's HBO, man. They've been doing this for so long. They know how to hook you into their series, and very clearly working most likely with Jordan Peele on this bad boy, because it has a lot of the vibes, that beat coming in at the right time, a lot of touches that you get from Peele. But also a lot of things that we see from HBO as far as building that anticipation for their new shows. And my anticipation levels, like, it was a solid trailer, and then it skyrocketed right at the end, man. Like, just such a fascinating concept, to have a black family traveling across 1950s America, and then to insert like a creature in there and make it kind of a horror story. I'm so psyched, but I'm gonna like try to compose myself with excitement. I'm gonna throw it back to the future Seaman, who will obviously have seen the entire panel and break down both the trailer and the panel just for you guys. So take it away, future Seaman. Ooh, man, like, go like I may have been internalizing my excitement a little bit more, like, because it was just, I didn't know what to do. So thank you, first off, Past Seaman. Another fantastic reaction. Even though I continue to compliment you, which I guess is also me, and you've trashed me a few times. The fire, man, and as it should be. When I said that H.P. Lovecraft, obviously, his monsters were going to be involved in the show, I didn't think we would see any in the trailer, because, like I said, the story is interesting enough. The type of things that they're going to tackle and talk about in the show is very compelling in and of itself. That you could hint at the monsters, like those low rumbles in the woods and those noises, and you're like, oh man, the monsters are out there. Like, they mentioned the word monsters, and then you start to hear things, and you're like, oh yeah, open that door up just a little bit, man. Let me take a peek. Never in a million years did I think that peek was gonna freaking show me the live action Cthulhu. Holy crow, man. Like, my head exploded a bajillion times. I was just like I said, I think I was less excited than I was externally than I was internally, man. Like, when I saw that Cthulhu, like, there was a minute where I was like, nah, like, that's not Cthulhu. Like, they're not gonna show that to us. They showed it to us in the trailer, and it is gorgeous, man. Like, oh, I was kind of hoping like that would eventually happen at some point in the show. Like, the show would eventually lead to seeing it. I didn't expect it in the trailer. I kind of didn't want it in the trailer because that's an awesome surprise to get in show. Like, the idea of that scene happening in context, and that's the first time that you're seeing the live action. Like, that probably would have been like a massive pop. That being said, what a pop that was for the trailer, man. Like, oh, it looks so good. I'm like so pumped, man, because this show doesn't just look good, but this cast, man, the panel was awesome. Listening to them talk about working together. Jonathan Majors, and this was reiterated by everybody on the panel, was like, we're not a cast. We're not like just a group of actors, man. Like, we are a family, dude. Like, we became a family on set, working so close together. He's like, Michael K, he's not Michael K, and like, that's Pops. Courtney B. Vance, that's Uncle George, and Journey's, Letty, and like, that's what we've become a family. And I've talked about that all weekend, man. When you have that type of gel with a group, it just elevates the material because everybody's bringing their A game, everybody's pushing everybody, and you're having fun because you're enjoying working with the people you're around. Like, they were asking what it was like specifically for a group of actors who are pretty top-notch actors, specifically in TV, and obviously, some of them have been in big-time movies as well. Like, when you got talent like that, it's like, they were like, what's it like to work on a green screen? And Courtney B. Vance like, honestly, man, it's just silly. Like, it's like, all right, so the monster's over there. What are we running for? Okay, so I'm looking here. Journey, where are you looking? Michael, where are you looking? Jonathan, where are you looking? All right, so you're looking up, I'm looking down. Like, it's just silly. And he's like, and that's what makes it fun, man. Like, we're there making pretend. Like, literally making pretend. Like, it's one thing to shoot a TV show or a movie where you got props and everything is tangible. And it's another thing to make pretend where, like, what you're acting against is pretend. He's like, it's just kind of silly. But he's like, it allowed us to laugh and have a lot of fun on set. And it's a show that is really scary, man. Like, they showed a clip at the end of the panel. I was originally going to react to it, but it kind of is an obscure clip. But it sets, like, a tone precedent for the show. Like, the tone. Like, this was a clip of them, like, trying to find a secret passage and then, like, enter this, like, kind of cavern type thing. So, like, that's a setting without lights, and at night it's already kind of creepy. But the tone of the way it was being shot and the pacing and the way that 2-minute stretch played, man, edge of your seat stuff. So I was like, fire. That's the perfect type of clip to see because it enhances what you saw in the trailer and kind of confirms that, like, this is a show that's going to get you to go to your edge of your seat. And it's also going to be a show that's going to make you think. This panel talked a lot about with what's going on currently in the world with the Black Lives Matter movement and how important all that stuff is. And like I said earlier, like Courtney B. Vance, like, just talking about how difficult it is to still be having these conversations with our kids. Like, I know, it's okay, baby. Like, we're going to get through this. And then 2 weeks later, Dad, didn't this just happen? Like, yeah, we're going to get through this. And even listening to, Courtney B. Vance and then Michael Kenneth Williams both, gave stories recounting incidents with run-ins with the cops. Like, Courtney B. Vance heard a bunch of commotion late night one night and just kind of came outside of his house. He lives in, like, a white neighborhood. And there were all these cop cars, and he just knew immediately. He was like, I'm getting on my knees, I'm getting on the ground. And, like, real quietly, I'm like, sir, this is just my house. Like, my ID is inside. But he's like, you just kind of revert to doing the absolute minimal possible that could escalate the situation at all. I mean, there's a situation where you're just coming outside because you're hearing commotion outside of your house, and next thing you know, you got guns drawn on you. And that's a story that we've heard many a times. And like Courtney B. Vance said, if I was a white guy, that's not going to happen. They're going to assume that that's where I live. And then even Michael Kenneth Williams, man, was talking about, like, he was at a chicken spot with his family and a couple friends, and they were eating or whatever, and I guess some woman couldn't find her cell phone, thought she might have left it in there. And instead of, like he said, just coming in and, like, asking us, like, hey, did you guys see my phone by any chance? I haven't been able to find it. She went to the police, and the police came in. And he was like, it's sad that white fear exists, where it's just as soon as you see that skin color, it's like, well, I can't just walk up to a person and be like, hey, by any chance do you guys see a phone lying around? Like, and those are the stories, you know, that are coming from actual actors. And like, even Michael K was like, it's almost even more offensive when you're in the middle of this situation. It's like, I was with all my friends, I was like, look, all of you be quiet, I'm gonna talk, because you know you don't want anyone escalating or doing anything that could escalate that type of a situation. And then he's like, the cops realize who I am, and then it's all cool. And he's like, I would like it more if it was like, hey, we know who you are, but we still have to ask you, where were you today? Have you seen this phone? Like, what? He's like, that would have been more, you know, like whatever. And then when they take those stories and they tie into what's going on in the show, and it's like, you know, it's stuff that's gonna hit home. It's going to be a very impactful show, as well as a crazy kind of horror scary show. Like, it's tackling real monsters and fake monsters, which is a really, really cool concept. And then like Journey and Jonathan just kind of really talked about like the family aspect of the show, you know, and getting to see, you know, what this family goes through, you know, and how they have each other's backs, and what it leads to, and how they deal with these situations. Courtney B. Vance's character, his family, and him kind of travel around, filling in the Green Book, which we saw with that Mahershala Ali, movie a couple years ago, Green Book, which is about that book. And his family was one of the people who was actually helping fill that out by going to places and noting what was safe, what wasn't safe. So like, that's really, like, there's so many interesting angles. And then the moderator, Sarah Rodman, who is an executive editor over at Entertainment Weekly, she brought up how the show opens with this wonderful shot of Courtney B. Vance in bed alongside Anjanou Ellis. And she was like, it just made me happy, man, because it was like just such pure, beautiful black love. You know, like they're spooning. It's like just this really lovely moment. It's like you get these really tender moments to express and enhance, you know, things that are part of that story, and that culture in ways that are impactful, as well as telling this kind of crazy horror story mixed in with all the sci-fi stuff. And I don't know, man, it was just something about listening to this group in particular talk that just got me excited. And then, like I said, when you throw the visuals in on top of it, like, I am so here for Lovecraft Country, man. This thing looks awesome. This might 2020, as you know, and this might make sense. This might be the year for horror TV, man. I mean, that Hellstrom Hulu Marvel show looks really scary. That could be really good. Like, I've seen a couple, like the horror, and in the scary times we live in, scary movies and TV shows should be dominating. Why not? That one looks really, really good. So I am definitely pumped. The question is, are you, man? What are your thoughts on Lovecraft Country? Are you a fan of H.P. Lovecraft? It's funny, I was talking to my friend Joe, who's also a big horror fan. Like, how in-depth are you on H.P. Lovecraft? Because, like, I know, like, some of the general stuff, and, like, I'll be able to pick up on things, but, like, can I go to you for, like, deep cut stuff? He's like, I kind of generally also know it as well. You know, the books are kind of hard to read, I guess. But the characters and the creatures that he's created, and that world that he created, is so rich and vibrant, that even just being just passing by and knowing those things, so awesome to see them in live action. So if you are a H.P. Lovecraft fan, please, man, elevate this conversation. Give me what you got. What might we expect? What else might we see in this show? What are you looking forward to? Is this, you know, something that you think interests you? Do you think the real life monsters and the, you know, fake monsters, is that an interesting duality concept? How do you think that's going to get tackled in the show? What are you looking forward to most? Did you see the panel? I, of course, put the link down below, but anything you're thinking about HBO's Lovecraft Country, down below in the comments section. As always, if you enjoyed this video, please give me a thumbs up. And if you're new, you want to come hang out, the old C-Man, anytime we talking any movies, TV, trailers, whatevers, Comic-Cons, you know what we do here. And you want to show a little love, boom, jump over there, man. Hit that subscribe button, hit that little bell if you want those alerts. And until next time, for the C-Man Cinema Sit-Down, I am the C-Man. I am signing off. Peace. Well, I'll be. You guys are still here. You must be looking for some more content. Well, don't worry. C-Man's got you covered, man. You got videos like this guy and this guy. And if you haven't yet, and you want to come check out all the C-Man goodies, join the Cinema Sit-Down squad, man. Hit that subscribe button. And don't forget to hit the little bell down below that, too, so you can get alerts every time I make new videos.